So the reason we optimize business processes with technology is to make a significant improvement, which outweighs the cost and the efforts to actually implement them. But perhaps you want to improve customer service or customer experience with shorter queues, faster, more accurate service, better user experience, and a better work-life balance for staff. Or perhaps you just want to be more compliant, more efficient, and generate more profits. But the number one reason that businesses look to improve their internal workings is to reduce costs and make savings. So in this video, we're going to take a look at how to measure cost savings and the other cost savings that you may not have thought of. We'll look at intangible savings, which have indirect financial costs and impacts to the bottom line. And then we'll take a look at how to keep track of the savings that have been delivered when the bot is up and running. So if you can save staff time, then you can deploy that effort onto doing other things, and that saves on hiring costs and the effort that goes into having to find new people that may not have the right skill set and experience that you're after, that your current staff have. But time savings is an indication of how efficient a business process and a business as a whole are. The less time it takes to do the same things, the more efficient that business is. And by reducing minutes and hours here and there, staff can have more time to spend on value-added tasks. The idea is to remove the non-value-added tasks that staff are doing, like copying and pasting documents, filling in forms, sorting out their emails, and allowing the staff to have more time on value-added stuff, more creative, interesting, human-to-human interaction activities. So to measure time savings, you really only need two metrics: average handling time, which is the time from start to finish of a process, and then the volume, which is how many times that process is run over and over again in a period of time. And because process volumes can fluctuate from day to day, it's best to take a look on an average, monthly average, rather than an average day. And maybe if you looked at a yearly average, that's just a lot of data and a lot of time. So the monthly average is the optimum metric, the optimum period to measure volume. So for example, finance may have processes that are done monthly or yearly, whereas customer service may have things that are done 100 or 1,000 times a day. If you calculate the monthly average, it's easier to compare different processes from different departments against each other. So for example, there's a process in finance that is run twice a month, but on average it takes about 90 minutes to actually run that process each time. So that's 180 minutes per month, whereas process 2 in customer service may be run 100 times a month with an average handling time of 2 minutes, which is 200 minutes per month on average. So as you can see, this monthly average allows you to compare very differing processes. So you can see roughly how much effort is going into that process on a monthly basis. But when it comes to automation, you don't just look at the amount of effort for that entire process, because you need to also look at the automation potential. Because with automation tools, you may not be able to automate the whole process end to end. So you want to look at the automation potential. For example, process 1 may be very logical and straightforward, and 90% of that process is automatable. So you could save 162 minutes per month. Whereas process 2 is a lot of human-to-human interaction. It relies on a lot of intuition and human judgment, so maybe only 50% of that process could be automated. So then you can see that only 100 minutes per month can be saved from automation. Again, now you can see how you can compare two very different processes together to see which process is most suitable for automation and what your team should be prioritizing. Time savings is an obvious way to see how you can save costs, because if your teams are more efficient, then you don't have to spend on hiring costs. But there are other ways that you can save without just taking time out of the business. Maybe there's processes which you are outsourcing to a third party to take care of a process that your team in-house don't really want to do. But perhaps you can actually automate this entire process, or at least part of it. Then you can save on the third-party fees for this process. Potentially, if you make the third party more efficient with automation, you can still pay the third party their fee, but then they can be doing more for you. For example, say process 3 is BPO, and it is a business process or outsourcing process, and it costs you £40,000 a year. But if you were to automate 50%, straight away you can see that you've saved yourself £20,000 each year. Another cost savings, which again is less obvious, is reducing errors. Say process 4 has 50 errors every year, and every time you get an error it costs you $15,000. That's $15,000 of potential savings that you could save if you could eradicate all those errors. Also bear in mind that there's the additional cost of staff time to fix each error. Maybe that takes 30 minutes just to reverse the errors that someone else made. So if you zeroed out the errors and you saved on the additional time, that's 25 hours a year that you can save by automating a process to eradicate all the errors from that process. Another way of cost savings or cost avoidance is to become more compliant by making sure that your processes are faster and more accurate. So for example, maybe you're doing a tax return and it's a very slow and arduous process, and there's a lot of inaccuracies, which means that work has to be redone, and it causes lateness, and you miss the deadlines, and you could be fined hundreds of dollars each time you're late. If you automated that process, you could save on the fines that you would have got if you did everything manually, because it would be faster, the process would be more, the results would be more accurate, and by automating that and scheduling that for the right date, you can ensure that you won't be late anymore. So we touched on this a little bit. The last example I'll give to you on cost savings would be the cost of hiring new staff, the cost of the adverts, recruiting process, and the risk of having new staff working in your business. By augmenting your current staff with intelligent automation tools, this could save greatly on recruitment costs by doing more with the same current staff that you have. And it gives you the peace of mind that the staff that you have can deal with the volume of work and they have the right experience. Once you've made these cost savings, you've implemented a robot, you want to make sure that these savings continue into perpetuity. So you want to have some kind of mechanism of tracking the savings and making sure that it's not dwindling away over time. So once you've estimated the savings from each project, you need to work with the team to put in place some kind of process, manually or automated, that keeps track of the work that the robot and the automation is doing, to make sure that robot was to process 100 cases every day. It's not dwindled down to 50 cases due to errors and exceptions and something wrong with a robot, or potentially maybe the volume has reduced and the robot isn't saving as much time anymore. So you want to make sure that this is tracked, and you can do this by every month connecting what the bot is doing from the bot logs into a chart, some kind of data visualization dashboard, so that teams can go in and check that the robot is still delivering every month the savings that was estimated in the beginning. Or potentially you could just go back to finance. There may be a year lag, but you can go back to finance and you can check how many fines, lateness fines, did you get, how much was paid on third-party fees. And if you can see that these fines and these fees were kept low, and you can logically attribute the low fees and fines to this automation, then you have a mechanism of proving that your automation persistently is adding value. Okay guys, don't forget to subscribe, like this video if there was anything that you found interesting, anything that you haven't used. maybe there's certain cost savings that you're maybe delivering, but you're not even measuring. So take a look back at these tips, share this with your team. Potentially you're doing a lot more benefit, you're providing a lot more benefit to your business that you're taking credit for. Write in your comments if there was anything additional that I haven't mentioned that you do to save costs. I'll be keen to read this, and it's great to share your experiences with other viewers as well. All right, take care.